Hey guys, give me a minute here. Okay, give me a second, guys, and then we'll be ready to go. the data was a dumpster fire. So the question really becomes, how bad does it get? I'm not really sure yet. I'm just gonna look. I'm loading up now, guys. I'll get to it. But it's obviously not. It's not great. So let's see how this goes. Bear with me. The guy that usually helps me set up is not with us for a couple weeks. Let's turn the sound off. I'm gonna put that on. Oh boy, that's a lot. Yay. Hold on. Let's go here, put that up, and then get that going. All right. Yeah, I mean, overall, it wasn't a great day. I have the music off, right? Let's make sure the music's off. Yep. So overall, it wasn't great data that came out, and we're going to just get to that now and then go from there. Oh, for God's sake, hold on. All right. So let's get to the data and calendar and do that. I can feel the muse today. 99, 145, dumpster fire floating down the river with a bunch of raccoons. I would use worse language if there were not ladies. That is a really bad number. Now remember, 99, 145. ADP only uses ADP data, which is the average company is 30 employees. That said, you might as well do that now. The 830 data, yeah, I kind of care about, but that was the big dog. More importantly is going to be this composite, this S&P composite that comes out, and services. We don't want services employment and new orders employment to be under 50. That would mean contraction in services as well as manufacturing. We don't want to be there. You'd be in a recession. I actually think you are. I think we've been in a recession, and I just don't think they want to say it. So there, I've said it. I've said the R word. I do think that this is going to lead to a couple things tomorrow. For one, you have hourly earnings, hourly wages, employment data. People are going to want to watch this, but see this U.S. data right here? When this gets broken out for non-farm payrolls, they're going to break it out into private, government. They've been doing this. Non-farm payrolls private is probably going to be weak, okay, if we're weak. So that's going to be an issue because big companies are not hiring. And that would be the differentiation between the ADP private and the BLS private would be, devil's in the details, right? So it would be those companies. Let me shut this door. It's a little bit of an echo. So that's definitely something that's on my radar and certainly something that I think we need to watch. Crap, it's a really bad number. So I think we have to go from there. And I think you have to stay, with that and go from there. I really think the most important thing that I can say in looking at this is you got to think that if you're a trader, right? If you're a trader, you're going to be flat going into tomorrow. Like why, if you're an institution, why are you putting anything on? The other thing is you have some big data next week. You have iPhone sales or the iPhone thing that's coming out next week. You have a debate. That debate is going to shape the landscape of what to expect. There's no other way to say it. It just is. People are going to set their expectations on that debate. And right now you have an election that looks somewhat tied. I would say this, these kinds of names, I do expect this to hold today. I don't know How many people are going to want to be, not in a position for this event? But you also have other data this week that we have to look at that's coming out, right? So keep that in mind. There's a bunch of other data that you're going to have to watch. I don't even know how the heck I got this thing on. I've got to figure out how I'm going to get rid of it. Maybe if I click on it, maybe it's one of these things I hit. Did I hit this? That? There's some way I got this thing up. I forget how I did it. All this, I can write all these dumb codes and I can't figure out how. Is it settings? Is that going to get rid of it? Profile? That doesn't seem to do anything. Come on, Boomer, figure it out. I don't know. I have no idea how I even got it up there. Is that the trading panel that I hit? Is that closed trading panel? That's not it. Although that's nice too. But I'd like to figure out what the heck I did here. What does that do? I don't know. All right. Anyway, I don't think that that's going to stay down very long. I truly don't. But it's just my opinion. Other names that are out there that are interesting, like none of these semis are holding. None of them are holding. So you're trying, but we'll see. I do wonder what happens today with Nvidia. Did we get a subpoena? Didn't we get a subpoena? The Department of Justice doesn't know if they sent it or not. I actually think they're splitting hairs with their statement. Like, we didn't get one. I don't even know that the Department of Justice said that they sent one. I think the Department of Justice said, we are talking to your vendors. That's what I think they said. But I don't think that they said that they got one. So I think that's very different than what they're saying. I think they're splitting hairs there. But that's definitely something that we would want to watch today. If we take a look at the NVO, these kinds of names, we went from 140, we're all the way down. You start kicking some of these names out, they're just not holding. These pullbacks, these gap downs, do you really want to play these names? I know a lot of people this week are like, oh, PLTR is going to be added to the S&P finally. That's a game I don't play. Is it? Is it not? I don't have a clue. But a lot of these names, the same names are just working over and over and over again. You're just basically looking for pullbacks and then trying to get involved with them. And I think that makes the most sense. Starbucks rallied, then you came back, and you're going to be doing a lot of this, guys. You're going to be all over the place, and you're up, you're down, and it's just you're going to have to deal with it. If you're not willing to deal with it, don't trade right now. This gave all of it back, right? It just took time. But you gave that whole move back. You didn't come all the way back to the gap fill, but you're there. And you're seeing a lot of this. And, even here with like UPST, we bought here and then this is where you're at. And you're seeing a lot of this. So if you're not willing to have some wild rides, you're going to have to sell into levels. That's just the way that it is. One of the easiest trades out there right now, just anything financial. Anything financial is working exceptionally well. I think it's going to continue to. If we take a look at the SPY, I already got out the newsletter, so we're in good shape there. I don't have to worry about it. But if I take a look at like the SPY here, I'm going to take a bunch of questions today and just go, okay, well, what's transpired? You start looking at the data, like the 830 data. I don't know. Do I really need to care about this data? Like, we can go over it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal compared to what's coming out at 10 o'clock personally. But, here's the ADP data. Here's continuing claims. All right. So what? We came in at 227. Okay. Non-farm productivity, 2.5 versus 2.4. Labor costs are down. Okay. Like, there's nothing here that's going to tell me that we're just supposed to miraculously rally here. Matter of fact, I think that it actually can, if you start looking at it from this perspective, from that rally up after the 815 rally, did you really go anywhere? Not really. You just might want to mark that off today and take a look at it from that perspective. Mark that off and then take a look at this 830 level and see, okay, well, what did that really do? All that really did was just pop you over that 815 level. And that's really what they're looking at for non-farm payrolls tomorrow. So did it really do anything? Not really, no. So again, I just think you have to kind of watch how this stuff's going to play out and realize you're going to bounce all over the place. I do feel that you're kind of washed out here, but it doesn't mean you can't go lower. Look, we went right to that level again. We keep getting to this level over and over and over again and not breaking. It's literally Groundhog Day. Bonk, bonk, bonk. I don't know. I think you're fine there until you're not. I know that's prophetic, but you've got a lot going on in there, like a lot. So there seems to be some reason, for whatever that reason is, that level right here, this 104 level, you get Wick City down here. Look at all the buying. For whatever reason, that it has become a demarcation area. I really don't have an answer for you as to why. Maybe there's some kind of level there as I should look at. So let's take a look. Maybe there's something I'm missing, No, I mean, you're through all your big levels there from that peak over. You're through everything there, unless you're at like a anchored VWAP bottom or something like that. Please stop. There it goes. I mean, now you broke that. I mean, you've broken everything. So I don't really know why that's so pertinent there. It's not like you're here, which is where I think you can get to pretty easily. I think you can get down there fairly easy. And I think people will go like bonkers there. But if you drop in like the 200, you're there. So then you could go, all right, so is it that the 100? I thought we broke the 100 already. Maybe that's where it is. Yeah, you already broke the 100. So is it the 150? And that's what they're saying. You're not even near it. Well, I mean, I'm going to go say it's the 126, So I don't know. You have a little bit of a shelf here. I do think if you break that, you have a real problem. I'm not sure that you're going to, though, but we'll see. If I look at it this way, and the reason NVIDIA is so important is as goes NVIDIA goes the NASDAQ. When you start setting up this way and you start breaking down like this, you want to be careful. I always stress this. That's why I have this like red, yellow, green, right? Because it just tells me what's going on in the world. And they're getting wider and wider. So, it's a tough one here. It's a tough one. You're going to have to watch that level and see if you're going to break it or not. But you can bounce, and get to 112 and then just roll right back over. You have a lot of weight above you now. You're seeing some of the similar stuff here, but they're just starting to cross. And I do think that you could have some momentum through some of this back to the 225 level or more on that iPhone, unless that iPhone convention's a dumpster fire, and then it's all bets are off. Then, because like if you lose the consumer AI, what do you have? And a lot of weight's on AVGO, and this usually ends badly. Just FYI, like not AVGO ends badly. AVGO last quarter cracked, and then you've had levels where you're cracking it and you're exploding, and you've had times when you're not. I don't know how much is built in. I think a lot's built in now. But for me, if you take a look at that level, let's clean this off and talk about it. But you jumped up and now you're down from there. So expectations aren't great, right? But you could also make the same argument, let's clean all this off here, that, when you start looking at us here, that we jumped up and then by the time earnings came out again, you were really just in line. So you didn't really do as much. I think you need to be cautious here more than anything. I really do. Because I think you're walking into some stuff here. And then you go, and then God forbid, because then next week we hit the blackout period again, or it's coming up. And if you lose corporate buybacks and institutions aren't really going goofy right now, you have retail. We're going to do smart money, dumb money on Saturday. What do we have? Who's buying? Besides the hoople heads. You guys got to watch Deadwood, by the way. It's amazing on HBO. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't know. I could point at individual levels and say, watch this, watch that. We're going through crap like tissue paper. So giving you individual levels, I don't think is actually providing a tremendous amount of value. I think what you really need to watch is stuff like this. Like, I think that this could add value. Here, I'll show you this. I think there's value in this. So first off, value versus growth. Value is on fire. I can't stress this enough. And I've been preaching, and they're probably sick of hearing me talk about it in the room, but I'm like, why aren't you just buying interest rate sensitive names? Like they're the only things that are working right now, right? I mean, they're literally on fire. All these names, all these Argentinian names, like all this stuff is just, they're all setting up to go higher, like all of it. So there's very little to do with these names except for, I'm not going to bore everybody with this pitch. I've been talking about these since November, but they're all breaking out, and they're all breaking out on enormous volume, like enormous volume, because people are starting to catch on and go, oh, I get it now. And I personally think these are all going to take out their 2018 highs, but all those kinds of trades are working, right? FCNCA, you start looking at our banks, and they're worried about the regional side. So they're worried about the consumer, okay? But you see like BK still working. But then you go to like JP Morgan and these names, there's no reason for these things to come in, like none whatsoever. So I do think that, you get down to the 55 here, something like that, there might be opportunity there. I also like FAZ here. I'm sorry, the FAS here on any kind of pullback. Utilities are on fire, right? They're just buying anything with yield, anything, UTSL. I think there's value in those and understanding that. But if you go and take a look here at the market in and of itself, like here's stocks above the 5-day, right? And I always think it's important to watch this stuff. You start to see this kind of thing, you're in no man's land. So you're not oversold on any of these metrics. Like here's stocks above the 20. This is where bottoms are formed, not up here. This is where tops come in, up here. So you just started to roll. There's the 200-day. Here's the 50-day. Bottoms are formed down here, not up here. So that is something I'm watching. If I look at like the PCCE, everyone was talking about this on the 30th, how like you came down so much. I do think there's things like that you need to watch. And then the other thing that I tend to do is this. I'll just go through all these indexes and I'll just go and see which ones are above, like what's above the 12, 22, 55. And what you're going to see is it's everything defensive, right? Everything that's defensive, like look at XLRA, like those names are on fire. Again, look at XLP, like you look at Procter & Gamble, right? And it's breaking out. You look at Colgate and it's like a straight line. And I know, I get it. It's boring, but they're working. Because that's what they're doing. They're just buying defensive names. And then you go look at XLK and it's like an EKG chart. So very different kind of market right now. Just something to think about. We'll take a bunch of questions and we'll go from there. I think that's the best thing to do now and get to it. So what's up, Bob? Yeah, a ton of data today. MODJ. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that does for me. I mean, is that supposed to be a good thing, a bad thing? Are they sticking one? It looks like they're doing it to make money, but is one garbage and one not garbage? I don't know. Is it worth watching today? Yeah, I don't know. It's not really my kind of trade. I'll watch it. But it's not really my kind of trade in this market. The only thing like that I'm super interested in what they do with is going to be like this X. Like that I'm very interested in because I think that's going to be all over the place today. I really do. But I really, really do. But I don't know. I don't know I don't know enough about that deal to care. I guess it's a nice way to say it. Like I just don't really, okay, so they're going to split into two companies. Yay, golf. Like I don't know. No one seems to be too excited about it really, but I mean, maybe if you can where did we get to? Did we get to anyone? Did we get to anywhere of any kind of consequence yesterday on the news? You really didn't, did you, Bob? Like you popped up, everyone went yay, and then everyone's like, well, what does this really mean? Well, it's two companies that still aren't doing well, right? So, I mean, you might want to watch that level right there. You can't get through it. I don't know. I'm not feeling that at all. What's going on? Let's get into some of these. BBIO. I know you guys are playing this one. I don't know the news on the drug. Obviously, there's some drug and it's good. I don't know the news. I would have to watch this. I'm not going to lie. I love charts like this. see that, like when you have wicks like this, I love when they make this decision and they fill in the wick. Like that's definitely worth watching. If it's a storied stock, you'd want to watch that level. You're certainly going to want to watch this. You might want to learn, I might want to learn the story and see what it is. I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently about it. What I could do is just hop on one of the news sites real quick and see if I can learn anything, get some learning very quickly on it. But that's the kind of name that I need to know what it is and kind of go from there. Let's see what we got here. I got some upgrades, right? $46 target prices. You're at 30. You're being investigated by the Louisiana Attorney General. Okay, that's not good. Shares on serum data increase, switching participants from placebo to tafamidis. I'm not even going to do that to someone. Reduction. You're going to give me a phase, or am I going to use the force to figure it out? Participation, serum, greater stability. How many people, man? Data. Phase 3. Okay. European Society of Cardiology. Okay, that's actually good because they know what they're doing. So when you see data shown like that at one of those events and the stock goes up, that's why ASCO is such a big thing. When you're at one of those events and the stock goes up, that means they probably have something. So yeah, I mean, we have some people in the room that are actually pretty proficient at this kind of stuff. I'll drop it in there and see what they have to say. I have some people in here that nailed some things. Like I can look at charts and I can tear the balance sheets apart, but we had people in there, like we nailed this. I'll show you where we bought this day. We killed it on this. Like if you truly understand this stuff, you can kill it. I'd want someone else to, like, I'm not a doctor and this is not my wheelhouse. We have people in the room that's their wheelhouse. So we'll see what people say about it. Go from there. It would definitely be on my radar. Story stocks right now are really like, they're all the rage. So I would watch that. Anything like that, that's like a story stock that somebody wants to be in for some reason, you're going to get, probably kiboshed here with the secondary, right? It's just a matter of time. Kind of have to watch that, kind of go from there. It's coming, And what else you got here? Let's keep going. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And let's get over this. Get through some of these names. GDRX. I really like this company. I think they have issues, though. I think you have too many competitors right now. You have way too many competitors. I wouldn't go near it. LUMN. Yeah, I'm in this one. I just think you're going to bonk around. I have it in an account. I even forgot I own it. I'm just leaving it alone. I have the same account I have this one in, and I'm not even looking at them, but they're like option plays to make. Those kinds of smaller names that make option plays, but it is what it is. I think they're just going to bonk around, Jay. What do you got, John? Yeah, I think you have to look at the Redfin, and somebody brought this up the other day too. I think you have to look at this kind of stuff. Even like Cushman Wakefield, like here, let me show you this. Someone brought this up the other day, and I just want to comment on this. So you said Redfin, it made me think of it again. So what I tend to do with these names, especially like if they've been around for a period of time, is I'll go back and look at them on a weekly basis, and I'll drop a VWAP from there. And I'm never really disappointed when I do this. It will give me an area of demarcation. And that's what you have right here, right? You can say it, bonk, 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 right? So the average person, do they want in or out of this name, right? So when you have something like Redfin, you go back and you look at something like this, and people say, we can't go that far back. I can do anything I want. And you kind of see that you could even get to here before you even average, right? I think that's very interesting. Now, you can go to here, but, you're probably not really going to see that again, right? But see, when you put those peaks in, like this is where it gets interesting. If you put that peak in here, right, look at where you stopped. Okay, so you have to think that's got to be a target area, right? And then you'd go and look at that shelf right there, which is the shelf of when this all started. I think there's some things here you could take from this. I think there's some other ways to look at this too. Like look at this period of time that's basically 12 months and where you had a change and just kind of drop an anchored VWAP there like an anchored volume profile and see. And you're above where everybody owns it. And you could flip through this. So you could argue that if you can get over this, you could go. Now that said, do I really want to be that guy buying that there? No, I really don't. So you might go through the whole group and then go, okay, well, does Zillow look any better? No. So I don't know. I don't think we're there on that space, John. MDT is one of those dividend aristocrats. These kinds of names are just going to keep moving. Anything with a dividend is stable growth is going to keep moving. See this? Like anything like this. Look, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, breaks the neckline. I mean, they're the simplest trades, right? You're buying that low and that's your break. You just have to realize it's either going to work or it's not. And then if you catch it, it's going to grind up, right? That's what you're dealing with here. That's really all you're dealing with here. If you look at these kinds of names, again, you drop it from like a peak and you just want to see, you can see you have these gaps and then maybe you get into that gap. Maybe you don't. But I like these kinds of names right now. They're those aristocrats. I think there's 25 of them. It's like Johnson & Johnson's one too. And you see how Johnson & Johnson's trying to flip that DTL finally. That's drawn god awful. Oof. Must have had too much Japanese whiskey that night. But you see that right there, how that line goes? All right. So that's the type of thing you want to watch. All right, let's keep going. I think that if you go there, if just go and Google this. Dividend aristocrats, not young aristocrats. Young aristocrats start later. So, what do you got for me? What do you got, Eric? Supposed to get a welcome letter. Yep, I can. Yep, you should have got a welcome letter. My organizational skills, Eric, are part of my charm. What else you got? I think that I don't like AT&T. I'm being asked about that. I know people buy this. I don't like it because they constantly lose clients. It doesn't matter what I like. These kinds of names, they're just going to keep grinding. If you want to play this, to me, it's Verizon and it's T-Mobile because they're going to keep increasing their dividend, right? And then you could say, well, what about Charter, right? And Charter fell all the way back down. So what about Comcast? Pardon me. I don't see those, but I know people buy AT&T because they're getting this dividend. I don't know. I don't know how long you're getting that dividend for with everybody leaving. And that always bothers me about that. Like why, and I'm not knocking it. I get it. But why would you play that if you know Philip Morris is just going to keep rocking? And then, Altria and BTI. I mean, people are not going to stop smoking. A pack of cigarettes could be $72. People aren't going to care. They want to smoke, they're going to smoke. But I get the AT&T thing. I say it. I know we got a subpoena. We didn't get a subpoena. I think they're splitting hairs. I think it's not them that got it. I think it's somebody else that got it. And they're saying, well, we didn't get it. Oh, I don't think that's what anyone's saying. So I think you have to go from there. The other thing I want to say too is like this thing with Intel, it's getting kind of old. They keep trying to bail out these companies. Like just let them fail. They gave them billions of dollars and they laid off 15,000 people. Like what are we doing? What's up? Morning from Miami. The papers. Yeah, I think you have to realize that like at some point someone's going to go, hey, wait a minute, this is just a salad. When that happens, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you went like this with Shake Shack forever, where everyone was like, well, we got to be Shake Shack. Shake Shack's the best, right? And here, I'll show you. So like you went through this period with Shake Shack, same thing, right? Like in here, like everybody's going to Shake Shack. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, even when you first came out, it was like, okay, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, you went from what, like 40 to 100, and then you collapse. I mean, the same thing's going to happen here. It's just a question of when, right? I mean, it's almost like textbook, the same exact trade. But people say, but it's salads. Okay, I mean, they sell salads too. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling the salad trade. I'm not going to lie. Maybe it's because I don't eat salads, but I don't know. Like, if you hold here, okay, maybe you can build off of that base, right? And then if you did something like this, you might go, all right. Like if you look from there on, like, that's where everybody owns it. Do I really want to be in here? And then maybe if I overlay these, do I really want to do that? You're at the 12. I mean, maybe if you made the higher high and you're willing to take that risk of $4 or $5, maybe. It does nothing for me here. I get it. Like, you're like, oh, look, I held. Right. But at the same time you held, you're still 50% below that bar. So since you broke out, you've had nothing but net sellers. You had 1 day of joy, right? You had 1 day of joy after you bought the earnings. And don't get me wrong, if you bought the day of the earnings, you killed it. Like, everybody was like, yay, salads. And then everyone's like, wait, we own a salad company. So I don't know. I'm not feeling that trade. GTLB is interesting because no one's really paying attention to this nor understands it. Like, when you have these ideas that no one understands and then you have earnings like this, I do think there's something to it. And, these kinds of names, yeah, I would watch that today. Like, that makes more sense to me because here's a name that just broke the 55. People don't understand. You've got some movement here. So you see the 55 right there. But then, like, if we do this, it's 9 o'clock. Crap. But if you do something like this where, let me just go back to this and show you. All right. So here's 22, right? And so go to this for a second. Just look at the main one. So that's your main anchored VWAP, or like your main, volume profile, right? And then that's this is the value low, and then this is the value high, and that's like your point of control. The fact that you're over that, if you stay over it, it's like supposed to be a good thing, but you need to stay over it. If not, that kind of area becomes a resistance point, right? All right. So what you want to do is, like, if you flip, you could take a look at it and see if you're going to push over or not. And then it kind of moves up over time. I like the fact that you don't have anything here. It might take time to do that. The other thing is you have a DTL right here too, which I think is pretty interesting. So if you mark from here over, you could probably actually even do it from here and see it that way. But I would prefer to do this one that's right there because I think that's more telling, and it's probably more of a channel too. If I do this right, right there, you'll see it, right? See that channel? So I do like that. I do think that makes sense. And the volume gets lighter as time goes on. And you had good earnings. So what is the impetus? Like, you crushed it, really. So I do get this idea there. So something like that, you have to go on the assumption and go, do I want to take the risk? That really becomes the question, right? Like, that's really what you ask yourself. Do I want to take the risk? And if the answer is yes, you go up there and then you just, put an alert on it. When it hits, it hits. And you either do it or you don't. And it either works or it doesn't, right? You're buying tech when tech's out of favor. And you're buying tech, but you still have great value here. And you're not really, like, up here when it's happening. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe it's worth looking at. PMI, Purchasing Managers Index. I mean, you just have to realize it's split into two. You have manufacturing and you have services. We're going to see the services. Services has been leading. ADP went through, wow, I'm only on 7:30 at the questions. I'm waiting for Minnesota. I'm waiting for Miami. I have no idea. I have not seen this. It's definitely something to pay attention to. What price did they pay for it? Are they paying cash? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the terms. Let me see if I can find them real quick. I'm going to have to jump earlier than I thought. I apologize, guys, but I got to hop in the room. I got a bunch of new people in there. All right, they're paying $20 billion. All right, 38.5 cash, 90-day volume weighted average. When are you going to close? Do they think it's not going to go through? Because I wonder if they think it's not going to go through. Verizon acquire Frontier for $38.50 in cash. Why would they think it's not going to go through? The strategic buyout find the largest pure play fiber internet provider with significantly enhanced Verizon. They're both U.S. companies. Close in 18 months. People realizing their money is going to be tied up $3.50 for 18 months. So that's probably why. How did I not see this yesterday? This did not hit a screen of mine, which is really, really weird for you not to hit a screen at all. Wow, that's really disappointing if you stayed in that overnight, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's going to take so long for it to close. I think that's why you're down. You could drop a lot more. When people realize that for $3.50, they're going to have to wait like 2 years, they're going to be like, they're probably not going to do it. What's up, Journal? My music of victory. Yeah, I think that Woo's hysterical. I've watched that show. I watched that when it first came out, and someone's like, you need to watch it again. And I'm like, okay. So I did. I'm like, I'm glad I did. I do think there's some issues here. I was listening to someone talk about this today at one of the firms, and he's like they're done. He was walking through why they will be delisted, and I'm like, you know what? He's got a point. They're going to be thrown out of the Dow, and when they're thrown out of the Dow, you're going a lot lower, like a lot lower. So I don't know. I got to figure out what to do there, but I do think the guy was pretty smart dude. I do think he's right. I had a short on yesterday. I did very well with the short. I closed it at the end of the day. I'm like on a cat and a hot tin roof lately with tech. I'm not gonna lie. Happy dancing. My Mr. Woo. It's such a funny show. It's so good. Like, we just don't get acting like that anymore. Yeah, it would. It would shift it. I don't know, man. Right? I should totally do that, dude. In all my free time, I should really create a channel with like tech. How to do tech. What is it? 906? Crap. Yeah, let's do. What's up, Sebastian? Let's do a couple of these. You know what? Let's hit this. Is this a good short? I never short Tom Siebel. This is an absolute disaster, and I don't see this really going anywhere. This has just been an absolute disaster, and really just a disaster more than anything. I don't short Tom Siebel, but this does not usually work. Tesla, look, guys, he benefits greatly from rates dropping, like greatly from rates dropping. And I don't think people get that. Highly leveraged. So highly. You closed over the 55. You know, whenever I do that, I'm net long. I have no position, but you got to look at it net long. Over the 55, it works. I mean, sometimes it works, guys. Sometimes it's life's like, sometimes life's that simple, you know? And then you just kind of have to go from there. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you have to watch that. To me, I think the smart thing is to trade it. TLT, yeah, TLT is great. I mean, there's nothing to do there. Just you leave it alone. I don't know why people aren't buying interest rate trades. I can only do so much. I really can't. I mean, I've been in this thing. I've been in this thing since here, like literally since here. We had it in the community. We blew it out when it broke the 22, right? We have an alert spreadsheet where I list them all. And I never got out. It's pretty clear. Like, I'm just going to hold it because I said, I'm probably never getting this again. This was the day that she came out and said, I'm done raising rates. And then recently on the last speech, I added to it and we're back in it. And people are like, well, when are you going to sell it? I'm like, when they stop cutting rates. And they're like, well, that could take years. Like, right. Like, I mean, when's the next time you're getting this opportunity? Like, seriously, I don't think people get it. Like, this is not normal. This is normal. This, what you just went through, is like something that happens like every 40 years or something weird like that, right? So, where's this going? 120? And then this is when someone will come out and say, well, should I buy TMF calls? No. No, you should buy this and go read a nice book and leave it alone and sell it the day that they're going to stop cutting rates. What's up, Natasha? REM. Please don't be penny stocks. Please don't be penny stocks. REM. Mortgage real estate. I think something like this can do exceptionally well over the long term now. NYL. I don't think people understand how much interest rates are going to move. I know people are like yammering about the 2 and the 10 inverted. I see it going on. I see all that hoopla. I'm going to be using a lot of Deadwood slang lately. I can feel it coming. I don't love this one. I feel like listening to REM now. I do like this idea a lot. I think this makes a lot of sense. I owned Rocket. We got stopped out. Didn't work. I'll probably get back in. You just came right back down to the 22 and you held. I do like this space a lot. I like French fries though, man. If you can make a good French fry, you got me. What's up, Terry? Penny stock, son of a. Thought I was going to get out. Every time I try to get out, they pull me back in. I mean, you got volume. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I wish you the best, but I would want to get through that. I gotta go. You gotta wait, dude. You gotta wait 18 months. What do you got? Yeah, I feel that way. I really wish I never watched the video, but I really wish I did. What's up, Jacob? Usually got good stuff. What do you got for us? RZ, MA. Let's do this because this is one that I don't know. KBWP. Dude, this kind of stuff you should just buy and forget you own, because both sides of the aisle are just like, oh, you guys do whatever you want. We're going after big tech. You guys can charge as much as you want. We're just going to go after big tech. I mean, that's really what you're saying there. So it is what it is, man. But what else you got? Oh, you're welcome, man. Watch that level, dude. You got to get through that level. I don't know. We can do the 2 yield. All you have to do to see the yield is just do this, right? You guys know this, right? Let's just do it. There's the 2. All right, now you can go stare at it all day long. Right? And now you just sit there and go look at it. All right. So it is what it is. I don't really get it. I mean, the excitement with it. I mean, everyone's like, it's here. So if you go US02Y, right? Okay, and you're at 371. Okay, and then you go US10Y 372. Okay, because what you uninvert. Okay, like I don't get it. I don't understand the excitement. People have been excited about this for 2.5 years. Now we're uninverted, and now they're even more excited, saying that that's going to lead to recession. They're going to find out we've already been in a recession for about 6 months. I got to jump, guys. I'm super late. Trade to win. Oh, if you're trying to get into the community, last invite goes out today, 24 hours from then. All right, later, guys.